Hello, this is Douglas Robinson, and in this video we will be talking about searching in Cortex for Cherwell. So when you are on the home page in Cortex, you will see something like this. At the top of the screen, you'll notice a drop down and a text box and a couple of buttons off on the right side, and you'll see a list of saved searches. First thing that I'm going to go over is how you can do what we call an ad hoc search, or just an on-the-fly search. So by default, your drop down here will probably select incident. It might say something slightly different if your incident business object in your system was renamed, like incident and service request. But it'll start off as incident, and if you need to select a different table, like change, you can do that by searching and selecting the object from this little drop down here. In Cherwell, if I click on this Browse tab, I can kind of demonstrate the next thing that I'm going to say. There are different types of tables called major business objects, supporting business objects, and lookup table business objects. These are basically a hierarchy of the objects that you're most likely to look at versus the objects that you're least likely to look at. Incident is probably a table that you're interested in looking at. Knowledge article, problem, change. Supporting objects are things like journals, the notes under an incident, tasks, the tasks under an incident. Lookup tables are everything that fill in drop downs, for example, on the form. So you're probably going to be searching most often for major business objects, unless you're looking to pull up specifically a task by its ID. So you'll select the table that you want to search for, like incident. And then here you can choose either to use full text search or the quick search that used to exist in Cherwell in the little toolbar on the left or at the top right, depending on how your system was configured. If you want to use a quick search, you can type in your search term here and you can click search, and you'll see the results pop up on the screen like this, and you can double click on them to open them, and you'll see the form area. You can also set up specific search criteria, very similar to if you were building a search. So in Cherwell, you could build a custom search with multiple different filters, like there was a quick search builder, and you could choose things like the incident status, for instance. Make sure I select status here. You could say incident status is not, you have to pick value here. You get a little drop down and say, I want to see incidents where the status is not closed. If I click search here, I will see everything that's reopened, pending, in progress, and resolved. A very common search that people will do is that they want to see incidents that are not closed or resolved. So we can go in here and we can go rebuild our search. You want to select field and then select your field. In this case, that's incident.status. We'll say it's not equal to closed, and then we'll also add another filter here. I accidentally clicked on this. You have to click this little caret icon next to incident. Click on the header. It will give you a warning. Select specific value, select resolved. So now we're looking for incidents that are not closed or resolved. I click search, now I get reopened, in progress, pending, in progress, assigned, new, so on and so forth. And again, I can double click to open the record that I'm looking at. You can see all of the details. You can see related records in the grids there. So if you have journals or tasks or something in your relationships at the bottom of the screen, you can double click on them to open them. Now you will notice I have two sets of tabs here. That might be confusing. In Cherwell, there was a related item navigation and activity pane that had another way of viewing related items. If you have that on your screen, you will see those related items tabs at the bottom of the screen, separate from the tabs that would show up in the form arrangement in Cherwell. Depending on how your system's configured, if that feature wasn't enabled, you won't see these at the bottom of the screen. But if you do, that's why they are separate. But yeah, you can see the rest of the configuration for your incident table here, like the activity screen if it showed a list of journal notes. You can see if you had journals in a tab the normal way, you'll see them here. If you have tasks or change requests or CIs or anything else, approvals, you'll see those as you would in Cherwell as tabs on your record here. You can double click on the related items to open them up. And finally, sorry, I had to pause to sneeze. Finally, if you do build a search like this, let's say that I have a search for printers, or I've put together a search that has many different criteria on it, and I want to reuse that search, you can click Save here, and you can give your search a name. Depending on how the security groups are set up in Cortex, you may have rights to save searches for yourself, or you may have rights to save a search for everyone. If you don't have rights to save a search for everyone, you'll see this little message right here that says you can only save searches for yourself. Click Save, go to the home page, and you'll see your search shows up on the home page under this Saved Searches section. And from here, you can edit your search by clicking that little gear icon. You can see our quick search term was up at the top of the screen. You can see the columns that are going to show up for the search. If you'd like, you can customize which columns show up in the grid by default when you use this search. So for example, if I want to get rid of some of these, I can do that. And I can save this, click on it. Now the grid or the search results columns are different. And that's basically it. If you have rights to delete searches, you'll also be able to delete them from this page by clicking this little trash icon. It may be possible that you have rights to see global saved searches, but not to delete global saved searches. So if you see searches for yourself, you can always delete those. If you see searches that somebody else put in there for everyone, you will see the little delete button if you're able to delete it. But if you're not able to, you won't be able to see that button. And that's basically it.